Hello, you guys. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good?
Oh, you talking about us?
I'm talking to
Yes.
y'all.
We good. I thought you
Well,
was.
you know what? I got two slow people. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for joining Relive
That's number
Podcast
three.
today.
That's number
Um,
three. It's on.
Today, we will be talking about child support and is child support necessary? Guys, go and follow us on YouTube Live. Of course, we're on Facebook Live every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. or 7:45 now p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Make sure you guys share with your friends, your family. This is a podcast where we're transparent. We talk about real life issues. Um, Nothing is out of bounds here. We don't kind of have no boundaries. I mean, we want to be respectful, but we want to also help be informative and have fun at the same time. So, Aaron, since today is your last day, um, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
It was all right.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So I would just like to say today is my last show. Um, I just want to tell Michelle, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be on here. Um, it's been fun. We're gonna make this last show fun. Um, I might occasionally pop in and out if it's okay. So,
No.
but for now, I have other things going on that I need to focus on, new job, my son, and things like that. So, I got it. I got to handle some business. But again, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for allowing me this platform. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. Also, Erica. Thank you, Erica.
You welcome.
Um, y'all are two beautiful people. They give me a hard time behind the scenes.
Of course.
But yes, this is my last show. Uh, I know they announced it last week, but Michelle felt that I should come on and let everybody know. So here I am. Also, we're talking about child support. With 18 and a half years of working at the Office of the Attorney General doing child support, I have a lot of experience about this child support. So
Well,
let's
you
go.
will be a good, that's good. So, Erica, how was your weekend?
It was good. I mean, I worked around the house this weekend, but it was a good weekend. I can't complain about anything.
Well,
So,
that's good. That's good. That's awesome. Housework is always good on the weekends. Good old cleaning. We're about to get close to fall, so time to do a little cleaning and getting ready for the fall.
mm.
Hopefully, that heat will turn into cooler air, and we
Oh,
will all feel a lot better. And then, Erica, maybe we can start doing our podcast out of this house. Um,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
We'll
with
be
the
in a much cooler climate. So maybe we'll take it to the streets.
That's right.
But
cooler
anyway, you
weather,
guys, huh?
with that cooler weather, your DQ
Cooler
country
weather.
won't melt.
Yes, my little cone. So, guys, thank you guys for joining today. Our topic today is child support necessary? We know that there may be a lot of people on child support. We may be that there are people, maybe people going to child support court. We may have people here who are uh, who maybe don't think child support is a good thing, or kids may have grown out of the child support system. So I will start with Erica. What are your feelings about child support, and do you feel it's necessary?
Um, so I do feel it's necessary. I feel like it definitely depends on everybody's situation is different. Um, so with me, I feel like if you, first of all, I think just as we get into these relationships, you get into a relationship and you have kids and you think the situation is gonna last, right? And then things don't. So you definitely and you go your separate ways. Um, a lot of times we're gonna say a majority of the time the kids end up with the mother, but we know there's sometimes where they do end up with the father, right?
Right.
Um, so I think that for me, um, if the father is involved, they're definitely contributing when they leave the household because we went into this situation together. And just because now we're no longer together doesn't mean that financially you have no obligations. Um, because we know kids cost money, we know electricity, we got electricity, we got rent, we got, we got all these bills, right? And so when we was together, everything was good, right? We had these combined incomes, and now we're separated. And so to me, even though you have child support, we all know that the child support that you're getting is not enough to take care of the house. Not saying that you got to completely take care of a household, but I'm just saying, like, you went into the situation together having these kids, and now you're separated from the household. I still feel like you still should have little bit of obligation because your kids do live here. So if certain people are getting a certain amount of child support, like, it doesn't always mean that that's gonna cover everything. Because we do know some people might pay $100 for child support, right?
I've had that happen before.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, what is $100 really gonna do to take care of your child?
Right.
Now I know some people abuse it, but I'm just saying, really, in reality, also it goes back to the people that you are dealing with, the situation that you are in. So
So basically, so you think it is necessary at some point.
I think so. I think definitely, depending on who it is, the situation. I feel like, especially if you are not able to co-parent, because some people are not able to co-parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just depending on what the situation is. So
Okay.
we put child support in order so you don't have to deal with each other. I
Okay.
know I'm gonna get my money, I'm gonna get my check, and that's it. And I don't have to actually deal with this person. But I think sometimes I don't know. I feel like it just depends on whatever that situation is. Um, I'm gonna say for me, I mean, it was later. My kids had gotten older once I separated from their dad. So at that point, because my kids, or Jalen was already in college and Will was already in high school, it wasn't necessary for me at that point. Um, but had it been when they were younger, I probably would have.
Okay. Aaron,
Um,
what about you? Hold on, Erica. We're gonna go to Aaron because some of those you answered and some of the other questions I was gonna ask.
right.
Um, Aaron, what do you think child support is necessary?
I think child support is necessary, but it depends on the relationship that you have with with your significant other, ex-wife, girlfriend, baby mama, whatever you want to call it. Depends on how good y'all get along. If you're not getting along and and that person is not being responsible and taking care of the child and getting what the child needs, then yes, I would tell being working there, at the office of the attorney general for 18 and a half years, I would tell people, uh, and a lot of people, this is not going to be a popular answer, but go ahead and put them on child support,
Mm-hmm.
because when you get down the road and you're not getting along, and then all of a sudden the money stops coming in, and because one party may be upset with the other party, then you have a consistent support coming in for the child. Um, and I think a child is well, I know a child deserves to have the same lifestyle as that parent. Um, You have a lot of deadbeat fathers out here that don't take care of their kids, and you got a lot of deadbeat mothers out here who don't take care of their kids. Um, so to answer your question, yes, I think child support is necessary. I tell all my friends, family members, if you're going through something and that relationship is over, go down and put yourself on child support. That's what I did for myself. So when me and my when I got a divorce, I went down and I put myself on child support. So and I would encourage anyone else out there to go ahead and just, you know your responsibility. You know what you need to take care of.
Okay. Um, yeah, I believe that my outtake on that, as y'all have seen, I have not been through any good relationships with my kids' fathers. So first, I believe the child support was out of being pissed off.
Mm.
Like, okay, you think you're gonna do that? Then I'm gonna show you. But as I got older, I realized that the child support actually was in the best interest for me and the father. For one, I don't need to be calling you all the time when the child needs something.
Right.
If you just give me the money and let them take it out of your check, then we don't have to have that communication about money. And this stops a lot of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not one of the mothers who get a check and then I ask for extra things. When you give me what you give me, I use that for my kids. Now, if you decide to buy them something outside of that, then that's up to you. But I don't get a check and then ask for money outside of the check.
Right.
Um, so I felt like child support was necessary for me and my kids' fathers because I did not get along with them after the breakup. I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't really want to have nothing to do with them. So if we just let the system do what you, now I will say this, I'm gonna back it up. I tried to give each one of them an opportunity to give me money without the system being involved. And that did not work out.
Right.
So with that not working out, then I had to move a step forward in order to do that so that my kids can get taken care of.
Right.
So that's my take on that. You know what I mean?
And that was the thing with me too. And that's just one thing I need to clear up too is that so as long as I felt like it wasn't like I wanted extra, all I wanted to know was that when they needed something or they had it what they needed, it was still provided for them. That's all I was concerned about is that if they need something, the same things like you said that they were getting before, just because we broke up doesn't mean that stopped. So as long as they were still getting the things that they needed, I was okay with it. So with child support, that's another thing. If, like you said, if they're providing everything that they need, and it's about the kids, like you said, a lot of times it's okay. But when it gets to that point, sometimes where it gets abused a little bit, like you said, it might be a bad breakup. It might be because you angry. I don't know, or it might be okay. You getting that child support, but oh, I want X, Y, and Z extra. I guess that's where it ends up being one of those things where men feel like, and I don't know. Aaron can answer that. Where it ends up being an issue for men because they feel like she taking this money and she not doing what she's supposed to, or she taking this money and she getting her hair and her nails done.
I think that I think that a lot of men just don't like child support, period. They feel like I can take care of my own child. But what we have seen is when they say that, then you call and ask them for something, then they got an attitude about it.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm not putting you on child support. So if I call you for something, that means I need it. I don't need to hear no lip about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what a lot of women run into when they try not to involve the system, when they do call these guys like, tell your man to do it. And then you get all this backbite behind it. And it's like, you know what? Let me just go on and put them on child support because I don't feel like hearing it. And then sometimes what I have seen when women do put men on child support, then these men are quit fooling with these kids. They be like, your mama put me on child support. I can't do nothing extra for you. And it just be a whole big old shit show about this money. And it's not like nobody is giving nobody $2,000 and $3,000 a month.
Right.
These $500 and $600. It's like, well,
that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. And I would say also that it's not every man. And I would say it's not.
Well, let me say this before you say
maybe that's your experience.
Well, this is the thing. You can't say that I made it a blanket statement. I'm talking about my experience.
No, you said these men.
I could be talking about these men. I got 3 baby daddies.
Oh, okay. You talking about
them. You don't know. So you need to ask the question before you assume.
I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. That's your experience, right?
Now, because a lot of times.
So that was the disclaimer that I gave before I started talking. Okay. I've had these experiences with my situation. That's what I said when we first started talking. Mm-hmm. Now, what I will tell you is that I know a lot of men who are like that. You may not be one of them, but you can get these women on here right today. And these women can come on here and tell you that they have had these issues with these men and the child support system. See, you was just one of the brothers who went and put your cell phone.
But also one of the brothers who worked there.
Yeah, but it's okay. But you got to remember, everybody don't work there. The other thing, everybody not trying to be on child support. You got a lot of guys who don't even want to be dealing with the authorities. So then that's when we run into those type of situations. They don't want to be bothered with it. You know, they're like, I can take care of my kids, but then they don't follow through with the take care of. And we're begging them for a coat and it's wintertime.
That's what I said for these men. And some of these women too, when child support is an issue, if you don't want it to be an issue, go ahead and put yourself on it so you can avoid these type of issues. If you want those people to stay out your business, then I don't know. I guess you got to stick to the agreement that you made.
But men are not going to do that though, Aaron. That's your thought. And then like Michelle also said, for us, we feel like, okay, let's just go ahead and put them on child support so we don't have to do the back and forth because I already know. Mm-hmm. And then you put them on child support and then, or you say, let me just go ahead and do this because I know we're not necessarily agreeing. We didn't split up and they might be still feeling a certain type of way. So let me just go ahead and do this so we don't have to deal with each other. We don't got to go back and forth. And then they don't deal with the kid no more. So that's what a lot of us deal with because all those things that they were doing for this child all this time, they don't want to do no more. Because now they feel a certain type of way because you didn't put them on child support.
Or you didn't broke up with them.
Or you didn't broke up with them.
On child support. Sometimes I think it'd be deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just saying for women, and let's say men too, but I'm just saying that's definitely one of the things that it is like, well, I would give you more. I'll do more if I'm not on child support because men are really scared of child support. And I don't even know why. Like,
me either. I never understood why.
Okay, I'll tell you why. And I'm not saying that men are scared of it, women are scared of it. What it is you don't want nobody in your pockets. You don't want anybody garnishing your wages every 2 weeks, every month when you get paid.
It's just like you paying a bill, though. You paying the electric bill every month.
But the thing is, it's a percentage. So child support, the way it works is, say for the first child is 25%. So then it's 5% for each additional child that you have. And they can take up to 50% of your check. Now also too, is when you have a court order, you also, a lot of people are ordered to pay medical support. So for example, with me, I pay a child support and I pay medical support. So when you add that up, that's a large sum of money that's coming out your check. So sometimes people think they can work it out with their ex and say, hey, look, I don't want them people garnishing my wages. But then you have people that don't want to pay. And when they don't want to pay, that's when you come into these issues. And that's why I say just go down there, put yourself on child support. And the other issue is that the non-custodial parent or the custodial parent can go back every 3 years and get their child support modified. So when you go in, it's called a child support review process, the CSRP. So you sit down, a non-custodial parent has to bring two their last two check stubs and their last two tax returns. And so you sit there, and the child support officer is just going, there's strictly numbers, and they're going to figure out what it is. So if you made more than what you used to make a couple of years ago, 9 times out of 10, your child support is going to go up. Also, the flip side of that, if you're not making as much money as you were 2 or 3 years ago, you can request, the non-custodial parent can request a CSRP to get your child support brought back down. But 9 times out of 10, if you can shown to make that type of money, being in whatever profession that you're in, sometimes it's not going to go down.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is that's probably one of the reasons why men and women don't want these people in their life, because they take your money. I used to call and verify employment and actually send out the actual court orders to payroll. And some of these payroll people don't even want to garnish child support. This lady I called, and I said, there's such and such working. She said, yeah, but not for long, because they don't want to garnish the wages for child support.
But that ain't none of their business, because a child has to be taken care of.
Exactly. But which is against the law. And then also, with that being said, an employer can charge a non-custodial parent $15 every time they have to garnish your wages. So they can deduct another $15. So it's money all the way around. And they put a lot of laws in order to garnish wages from men and women. And that's why these people don't want the child support people in their life. It's making it even tougher when it comes to self-employed people, like your registration on your car. If you owe $2,500 or less, you got to make a lump sum payment to get your registration sticker on your car. Fishing license, hunting license. Even I think
you shouldn't be fishing or hunting if you ain't paying for your job.
But that's if
you don't need none of them licenses if you ain't paying for your kid.
But if that's if you behind though, right?
Yeah, if you behind, but just think about it. You got a year long before you have to go renew your registration. Say you lost your job, you can fall back behind child support. And then depending on how much you pay, if you're paying $500 every month and you ain't paid in 6 months, that's what, $3,000 you behind. So
okay, but I'm just gonna say this. So my light bill and my mortgage or rent payment is still coming though, and I got this child full time too. I'm just saying my bills ain't gonna stop.
This kid eat a lot. We talking about $500 and $600. Once you get that one little $500 a month child support check, that's all groceries. That's gone. When I say out of there, like, so I understand that argument of why they don't want it taken out of. But then on the flip side, you got to look at it. These kids are growing. These kids wear shoes bigger than a man. These kids eat more than a man. And we're talking about these are teenage boys and girls. They can eat. We're talking about in the summertime, they at home all summer eating. Or if they kids, we got to send them to summer camp. The YMCA, that's expensive. Camp, all that stuff costs money. So at the end of the day, if you're not giving that mom $8,000 to $9,000, $1,200 a month, you really ain't really touching on nothing for these kids. Because I'm telling you, the minute you get that $250 every 2 weeks, $500 a month, $300 every 2 weeks, by the time you get that $300, that's on school activities right there. Right. Don't let them be involved in that whole thing is gone. That ain't even helped us buy no snacks that they need to eat when they get home after school till we cook dinner. So maybe people just should not have kids if they don't stay.
That's why I was saying, like, it depends on you having these kids. Because we ain't got pro wings no more. These kids
Pro
do.
wings is over.
Hey, pro wings and all that is over with now.
So Keith Wormley has a question. He said, why do women automatically get custody when we have data that states children are better with the father?
I think so. To Keith's question, I think that when you are a man and a woman who has a child together and you guys are not together no more, y'all separate, I think y'all should go for joint custody. I think it's only fair. And I tell every man to go for joint custody. We're going to share the responsibility of the kid. We're going to when we go to the doctor and we get that bill, we're going to split it half. When I go grocery shopping or you go grocery shopping because you got them for the summer, I'm going to give you half of the $500. But people will not do it.
It's called that. What you're calling is, yeah, you do have joint conservatorship, but you also have split custody where you just split down the middle. So neither party pays child support. So
right. Then you can come to an agreement that you guys will split everything.
But you can get that on a court order. You can get that order.
That's what I'm saying. So most men, I will say, if you are a man who takes care of your child and you know that you are going to ask for joint custody. I'm not against it. Trust me. No. I just told a friend of mine the other day, go get joint custody of your baby. Because at the end of the day, if you are an active father, you are in your kids' life, your kids know who you are. They can say, my dad does show up. My dad does this. People know. Hey, ask for joint custody. These days, these judges are giving these kids to these men. It ain't like it was back when my kids are 31 years old, 28. It's not like it was back then. Back then, guys were scared of the system. They wasn't fighting for their kids. Now these guys are fighting for their children. They like, okay, I can do the same thing you doing, which I think that it should be an agreement. You know, you guys should parent the kids together because I believe that kids need both of their parents. But men are fighting for their kids, like ask for joint custody.
I have a friend of mine.
I agree with joint custody.
I have a friend of mine right now who has custody all four of his kids. And his baby mama, ex-wife, wasn't paying but $100, $200 a month. Now that ain't nothing.
Is that all she made?
I don't know what she made, but you know, you still got four kids. So
was that court order though?
Yeah, it was court ordered.
So hey, it's court ordered. I mean,
but you can't say that on one flip side and say
no. That's not what I said because we haven't. You just bringing it up about a woman. Yeah. If a man paid $100, if they went to court and he brought his check stubs and he brought his tax returns. My son's father, my oldest son, when his daddy was in college, he paid me $100 a month. 100, not 101, not 102. We wasn't getting nothing off the dollar menu at McDonald's. $100 a month. Now, after he graduated from college and he became an engineer, then yes, he did pay me more money. But look how long it took him in school. By the time I did get any money from him, my son was already 9 years old. So, I mean, it does happen. I mean, that ain't got nothing to do with the person. That's the court system. If you're taking me to court and they say $100, shit, I mean, I guess that's all the person can afford.
So he wants to restate his question. He said sole custody. Again, the question is, why are women getting custody, not joint?
Because the men ain't fighting for it. These men are letting them women drag them in court, and they're not going to court with their attorneys. Go fight. If you feel like that the mother is unfit, or you feel like that, if you feel like the mother is unfit, or you feel like you should have joint or split custody, get your buddy attorney and get up there and go fight. Don't just let her go to court and you don't show up, or you don't show up with an attorney. We pay for everything else. We take trips, pay to get your kids. If you feel like it's worth it and you think you're a better parent, or you think that, no, I take care of my kids, we're going to split this, Go to court, show up.
And that's how my friend got custody of his kids. If she didn't
got to show up, because if you don't show up, they gonna go in her favor. That's right.
Right. That's right. I agree.
So to Keith, I mean, if you feel like that, you know, if that's a situation that you see people in or you're in, hey, go fight for your kid. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like, I mean, go fight for them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys just don't show up because they be scared. But I would be right there showing up, especially if I knew that I was just a good of a parent as the mother. I would be right there showing up.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't gonna drag me in court and take my money, and I know I'm taking care of my son or my daughter. Nope, I'm showing up with my attorney. So you better get you an attorney home, girl, because we finna go to court behind this.
But I think a lot of men end up, when they hear child support or they automatically get scared. And I don't understand why. I mean, I understand, but they just don't want to be on paper. It's just because they feel, like you said earlier, they garnishing their wages. Somebody is physically taking money. And like I said, if you do what you're supposed to, like for me, as long as I feel like you still doing, I'm not asking you for no whole bunch of money. I don't care. All I want you to do is to continue the things that you were doing, the things that you were buying, and make sure that these kids had what they need. That's all I ask for. I'm not asking you to pay my bills. I'm not asking you to do none of that. I just want you to make sure that those kids was provided with the same things that they were provided for when we was together. As long as you can continue to do that, I'm okay with that. But automatically when you split and they hear
somebody's bitter,
or the situation, because y'all not together no more, things go a certain way. And it doesn't have to be like that.
These are still your children. These are still your kids. I remember when I had my daughter, her dad, I did not put him on child support. I called, she need a box of Pampers. I'm like, just buy the biggest box. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to, don't come over here with no 29 Pampers and you know she used 5 a day. I'm going to be calling you again by Friday.
Yeah.
Well, why you came on? Excuse me, I'm paying for daycare, health insurance. I'm picking her up from daycare. I'm dropping her off. I'm feeding her. And then I got to go down the line of all the things I'm doing every day while you running free. Yeah. And then I say, okay, well, I tell you what. Wintertime come, can you get a coat? I get the coat. It's damn near spring. The girl gonna freeze.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, you got to take some executive decision. It's like, I got to go get my baby some money because her ass is going to freeze in the winter because her daddy won't buy a coat. Now I got to go buy a coat. Yeah. Or I got to have my parents buy her a coat because I ain't got the money because I got 2 other kids that daddy ain't paying child support at the time. Well, and now I got to ask my parents to buy a coat. And my mama like, shit, don't she got a daddy? Like,
Michelle, but they have coat drives.
I'm not going to no coat drive. He wasn't coat driving when he was laying up with me.
That's the whole point.
Doing no
it
coat
takes
driving,
2. It takes 2.
But she got
Don't do that. Don't do that. It takes 2 to lay up.
But this is the thing. But this is the thing. As her parent, if I am housing her and I'm asking you to buy a coat from Burlington for $12 or $15, I ain't saying you got to go get her no North Face. I'm saying, hey, get her JCPenney's or something. And you can't do that. You can't shoot me $30, $40 to get her a coat. Come on now.
I ain't saying I'm taking my life deal. I just need a coat. I don't need you to
listen, I didn't even worry about it. Baby, I got that paperwork. And I filled it out and went on about my bit. He was so hot at me, baby. They had to have the sheriff walk me to my car. He was so hot when I took his ass to court. See, I'm gonna give you a chance, but after that one chance, I'm not gonna keep playing. I tried to get that man one whole year. That one whole year, my baby didn't get that coat. It was March. It was about to be my birthday. Winter was over.
Hey, she gonna wear this coat.
Listen,
Even if
Shit.
it's pictures,
Girl, I went right on down to Rutherford Lane and got that motherfucking application, okay? And I filled it out and sent that right on that boy job. And that boy was so mad at me. That boy was so mad at me. He wanted a blood test. I said, now hold on.
Oh, he wanted to get verified, huh?
Oh, he wanted to be ugly.
See, that's what I'm saying.
When that test came back, 999.9999999, I took his ass to the.
But don't women use child support as a weapon, though? Don't y'all get mad and y'all go down there just like you said?
Men do too, though.
Women do use child support as a weapon. When a man don't want them, I have seen women go right down there and put them on. Yeah,
and men do too. It's not just women. Men do it too. So we definitely not saying.
Baby, them men would not pay for them kids. They be like, tell your other nigga. They be buying their girlfriend a new purse.
Oh, that's why you go down there, because they bought a girlfriend a new purse.
No,
purse. I need bills paid. We got
this girl daddy ain't buying nobody nothing. Trust me, he too tight. He wouldn't even buy his baby a coat. So, honey, child, I don't think nobody got no purse. No, but I do think child support is necessary. What I learned as I got older and I matured, I realized that it made us become cool, because then I didn't have to feel like, oh, I gotta call him. The check was in my account. I got my kids what they needed, and we went on. And if their fathers wanted to buy them something extra, that was on them. I never asked them for none. So if my kids would say, well, mama, can you ask my daddy? I'd be like, no, I'll get it. But if you want to ask your daddy, you can. I'm not going to ask him anything, because he does give us money. And they ask him and they would get it. But it took me to have to go through that rotation in order to get what I needed for my kids, because that was my struggle with my kid's father was, you got to fight with them. Then I had daddies who didn't work. So then that's a whole situation. They don't work. Who you sending them? Who you sending the child support people to? Nobody. Because they can't deduct no money from nowhere. So you trying to drag
the laws. Yeah, they're cracking down on self-employed people.
You're trying to, but let me tell you something, baby. Anytime anybody got an income tax, you had a wreck.
Yep. Straight take it.
You went to jail for a ticket.
Yeah. I'm not letting you add until you get my money.
Lump sum payment. Even with the passport. We had when I was working there, we had an athlete. I can't say the name, but athlete. They told him, you go to Mexico, you're not going to be able to come back. Oh. He flew to Mexico, got stuck over there. Had to make a lump sum payment. Late back to practice and everything, you get fined. And I'm talking about NFL players, NBA players, hockey players. I've seen it all. I've seen doctors who owe $200,000 or $300,000 in child support.
I should have paid by a doctor.
And see, that's the whole point. Like, why do we have these people that? So that's the whole point. Like, you make this kind of money. Why is it?
They don't pay. They don't. It's just not black. It's just not white.
Microaggressions, honey. These people, their logic of it is something different. When you're mad, and I've been in that position. When you're mad or you're having issues, maybe y'all broke up, he was cheating on you, or maybe she was cheating on the man and she got caught. Whatever the case may be, there's some anger there. And these things happen where people feel like, I ain't about to give her my money. She ain't finna be getting her hair done, her nails done, paying for her new car. And they're not really looking at the kid.
It's not about
whatever I spend the money on. I'll never forget when I went to child support court with my one of my kids' fathers, and he said, she just bought a new car. And that woman said, that ain't none of your business. Whatever she spend this money on, she has that child.
Exactly.
So you can't tell her what to spend that money on. As long as this child is getting taken care of, that is her business. Wow. I didn't say, I don't say nothing in court. I be quiet like I'm innocent. I be like,
and we know you're not.
Yes, Your Honor. baby. What's her name? Triselda, whatever that little judge, baby, out there. She don't play. She
So
do
what I
not.
was going, that doctor, what I was going to say, he was trying to travel, and
Mhm.
in order for him to get his passport, he had to pay a
Mm.
lump sum. He paid off his whole child support. I think it was like over $200,000. He just paid.
Ooh, baby, she was lucky.
Yeah.
She
Ooh.
was balling in the mix.
Mm.
Oh, she was balling real fast, real quick too. No, and so I think that you know, I think the child support thing, I think it's a touchy situation because no one wants to be on it, but I don't even think that we really want to put nobody on it either. Because you got to know, we got to take off work too. We got to put in our PTO time when we can be using our PTO for something else. I know for me, I didn't feel like going down there because the dudes don't show up. Then they got to reset it. And then, they didn't send out a letter. They didn't get served. So as long as they're never getting served, you're just going back and forth until they actually get served and don't show up. Then they'll finally put a warrant out for their arrest. And it just takes up too much of your time. It was like a headache for me.
I don't even think it's that for me. You saying that, but I think for me the biggest thing is that what ends up happening is the situation between and the dynamic between the dad and the kids change because then
See,
you
that never happened with me.
so I because I've seen it a lot where the situation changes and they don't want to deal with the kids no more because now they mad. I
Yeah,
was
that ain't never
getting child
happened.
support now, so you deal with it, and so the dynamic changes. So now
Mm-hmm.
you act in a certain type of way towards the kids because now I've had to go down here and put you on child support. So
Yeah.
now you don't want to deal with the kids no more. You don't want to pick them up. You want to do this. You don't want to do that now because you mad at me because I've had to go put you on child support because you're not doing what you're supposed to do as the parent. So that be my part of it is that it be always for me, it's about the kid. And I feel like just do what you're supposed to do what you've been doing, and we ain't even gotta go through that. Like I know
So,
it's a lot of it is that you don't want to be on paper because you don't want your check garnished, and I'm okay with that. But
Right.
if you do those things that you've been doing that you need to do, then we ain't even gotta go through it.
Right.
I ain't asking you to pay my rent, but I mean your child needs to be taken care of. So how we gonna figure this out? So versus you being put on child support, I mean, what do you want to do? And then so you're not gonna pick your kid up this weekend because you mad at me because now they put you on child support. So now you don't want to pick them up and you don't want to spend no time with them because you got an attitude. So it be those little bitty things that I can say that it be for me um with the child support.
but
Yeah.
child support is necessary. You got to take care of your kids.
You gotta take care of your kids.
Got to take care
That's
of the
that's
kids, and they,
definitely
and as a matter of fact, they deserve the same lifestyle that you're living. And I
And
understand that when you break up or whatever happens, emotions involved, and you upset at her, she upset to you. You just don't shouldn't have to just take it out on your kids.
that's
You know
right.
what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
And like what you were saying just a minute ago, oh, she has a new car. Well, your child deserved to ride in heat.
Mm,
And
Ride in AC in Texas. It's hot as hell.
yeah.
And I guarantee he's riding in AC. So why is he worried about what you doing? My thing, just know that your child is safe. Your
Mm,
child is well taken care of. And I just then would employ these men and these women out here to take care of your kid, take care of your child. They didn't ask to be here. So do all you can. And also, child support is more than just money. It really is.
absolutely.
mm.
It goes way beyond just money.
That is so true.
Try to support your kids in any and everything that they do. Um, so just remember that, you brought someone, a special person in this world, and as parents, it's our duty to take care of our child.
And let's talk about that because I think a lot of times women and men feel like if they pay child support that they don't a lot of them don't pick up the kids. And I think that the time is more important than the money, because as kids have gotten older and we talk to our kids that are now 31, 28, 23, 26, the first thing they say is that my daddy ain't never come pick me up a whole bunch. Like, it was
Mhm.
always my mama. Or my daddy didn't do this, my mama did that. And so I think that the time is very important, because money you can always get, time you can't go back and reverse time. We would never see 20 years ago, 1995, 97, we had these kids. That will never happen. That is in the past. And I think a lot of times people get so caught up in this web of the money that the kids get left out. And then the kids don't feel loved, they don't feel wanted, they don't feel listened to. And because everybody's fighting over the money, when the real child support is really the time, the affection, the communication, the listening that these kids want from us. And we don't see it when they're young, because we're trying to get the money because we got bills to pay and we're doing this and we're doing that. And then when we grow older, you be telling people, you shit, my kids, they had everything. And the kids saying, I never cared about that. You never took
You
me to
know,
baseball practice.
so-
You never took me here. You
Mm.
never spent no time with me. You was too busy running around with the women. You were too busy with your homeboys. You never took me anywhere. And then you be thinking, oh, I sure was. But at the time, you're not thinking of that. All you're thinking of is how I'm going to pay these bills, how I'm going to take care of this child. When a lot of times kids just want you to spend time with them.
And you know what? The flip side of that, though, too, is that you got these women and men, and just make them not make a blame. Not all women, not all men, but there's a lot of women, and there's a lot of men that even if they're not getting child support, they try to keep the child from the other parent because they're not getting child support, which is not right. Even though that father or that mother is not paying child support, it's against the law to keep that child away from the other parent.
That's
And,
why I say it's so important
and
too. You know
people
what I
do
mean?
that all the time. They're mad because they're not getting money. So, okay, you're not paying me any child support. Guess what? I'm not going to allow you to see your child. And see, then you end up with situations just like you were talking about just now. It's the reverse of what you're saying, you know. And at the end, the child suffers because the mama's mad or the daddy's mad
right, right, right,
because
right,
yeah,
right.
and it's not fair to the child, not
It's
at
not.
all. It's not.
You know,
Mm,
what you saying that I think that now that I'm and you got to think of this too. A lot of times when we had when I was 15 when I had my son. So at 15, you still a child. You don't really know what you should be doing. You get 19, 20, you still having kids. You still don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. But what I realized as I grew up and I had become a woman and I matured and I learned about life and how things work and how parenting works, I learned that I would have had so much more stress taken off of me if we could have got along and co-parented these kids. Because I could have said, hey, I'm going to drop them off. Can you grab them for me? You know what I mean? And but when you're young and you're thinking irrational and you're thinking toxic and you're thinking negative, you don't really think of these things until the shit hits you when the kids get older and they start telling you certain things. Then you start to reverse in your mind, like, you know what? I could have gave these kids maybe a little better life if I would have been mature enough to say, you know what? We're not together no more. We don't get along. But you know what? We had these children, and our love is not for each other, but for them. They're our common denominator. And we need to do what we need to do together as a unit for them so that they can grow up healthy, happy, knowing that both parents love them equally. But
mm,
when you're 18, 19, that equal shit ain't on your mind. It's run me my money.
Mhm.
I got stuff to do. And that is another factor that happens when you have kids in such a young age. because you're still trying to figure out who you are in life and what you want to do and who you are. Now you brought this human into your life and you still trying to run the streets. You're trying to take care of a human. You're fighting with their daddy. You broke up with him. You go with somebody else. And all this movement is happening and you don't make good decisions and it affects the kids. And so I think this child support parenting thing can be on such a larger scale. And I think it's things that we should teach
Yes, I agree.
others as they're coming up. For one, another thing that I learned with finances and children is not to have so many kids so early on in your life, because financially you can't take care of a lot of kids, and financially you cannot give your 4 and 5, 6 kids individual attention that you can give one. You got to spread it around and somebody's not going to get it. You know what I mean? It's hard to show everybody attention and affection all at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's hard. And I just learned that because one of my kids said, well, you should have did this. And then the other one said, and I had 3 kids. And the other one said, you should have did that. And the other one said, you did. And you're thinking like, shit, I tried. But then you realize that, can you really give 3 kids that individual attention? No, you cannot. Can you financially really give these kids everything they need? Mm-mm. You can't. We didn't make enough money at the time. You know what I mean? To do so. So somebody gonna feel left out somewhere. So I think that for me, I know that if I would have been a little more mature, I could have parented with those guys. And then maybe they would have felt a love from both of us. You know what I mean? It wouldn't feel maybe so one-sided over here and one-sided over there. You know what I mean? It could have been a joint effort.
I think that's why sometimes too we end up being in situations and we stay in situations for so long that might not necessarily fit what you need, but for your children, you end up sticking it out a little bit longer than you probably should. Um, Because speaking for me, like the situation that I was in, like I did stay in a situation. Not saying it was bad, but for my kids and for that situation as well. But also knowing that um, you definitely want what's best for the kids. And so knowing, like you said, with the money, the financial part of it, and also knowing that you have that person there, because also you don't know, like, if I leave, is that person gonna give the same that they were given the kid was getting at that time? And a lot of times we all know that it's not gonna happen. They're gonna leave that situation.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do, because they're gonna be mad about the whole situation. They're not gonna give those kids the same attention that they were getting their whole life and doing what they're supposed to do financially, like you say, and you know physically, mentally. And so, and it's not the kids' fault, right? We get
Right.
into the situation as adults, or thinking we're adults at the time, you know what I mean, and having these kids. And so I just feel like, for me, I just didn't want my kids to have to suffer through anything, because it wasn't their fault. They were brought into a situation. I had kids, and I felt like at that time I did what I felt like was best, um, for them, to make sure that physically, mentally, and financially they had all those things, right? I'm not saying that it was right, or it might have been for me, but for my kids, I feel like that was what was best.
So
Um,
basically, you saying that for your kids' sake, you stayed in a situation that you really didn't want to stay in.
Absolutely,
Gotcha.
absolutely,
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
did, and it was only because, yes.
Because of
So
the kids.
yeah, because like you say, you don't know if okay, it might be that I ain't picking them up. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that no more. You got to fight back and forth about this, that, the child support. all of that, it was like, you know what? I just got to do what I got to do for the moment. Make
Right.
sure they got both of their parents that's there, that they, they're present, they're here financially, physically, and mentally. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, so does the audience have any questions? Aaron, do you have any questions on there?
Um, let me look. Carrie Williams says, "All I can say is run me my money."
I knew that.
Of course.
Run me my money.
That's the whole thing, is that different people deal with different situations, right? Like,
Yeah,
I definitely get it when, like you said, it's some of those where you don't have a good relationship with, right? You
Hmm.
don't have that where you're able to co-parent. So I get it.
no,
That's
I was in a situation like that.
what I'm
Where
saying. So
when you can't co-parent, you be like, run me my money. I'm not talking about none. That's how I felt when I had to put them on child support. It's like, okay, I'm giving you all these opportunities. You doing everything else but taking care of your child. All right. All right, I'm gonna let these folks holler at you. I'm gonna let them tell you to take care of your child. Now
that's
bye. And
so
I'm done talking to you. So I do get it. I do get it.
So those are the
Definitely.
situations where you definitely have to put that child support in their life.
You
Like,
do.
okay, you're not gonna do it, so I'm gonna let somebody else tell you do it. Because I've tried, and you could have said, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna be a part of this child life. I'm still gonna pick them up when I need to. I'm gonna be a part of it, and I'm gonna make sure that they got what they need." And so for me, even when the things, we separate or whatever, he still did make sure they got everything that they needed when they need. He kept make sure that every time I didn't have to, and so that was all I wanted, was to make sure. You know, at some point you still kind of scared when you do, decide to separate and you're not sure. But as
Right.
long as you continue to make sure that they got what they need, you still spending time, you picking them up, you doing. That's all I'm asking for. I don't want nothing extra from you. It's always been about my kids
Right.
and their needs. And that's it.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, as a kid too, knowing what, my mom and my dad separated when I think I was 3 years old.
Well, I remember my dad. Shoot, he paid. Whew, I'm 27, so
You what?
57.
Did he say 57?
I'm 27, and I remember back in them days. Yeah, my dad was paying $100 a month child support for two kids.
Yeah.
My daddy never paid child support.
Mine might have paid less for two kids. So that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
the cost of
They were
living
back in the
nowadays,
old days, though.
the
$100
cost of
was a
living
lot of money.
nowadays is so extremely high. You don't have people are not getting cost of living raises. And I just went to the grocery store yesterday. I promise you, I bought 2 bags, and it wasn't even any groceries.
yeah,
2 bags, $30.
yeah, we know. It ain't
Uh,
even.
and I
I
get
having like
it.
6
That's why
bags.
child support is necessary, because it's so expensive these days, and especially here in Austin, where the cost of living is extremely high. You
Yeah.
know, it's just high. But
I don't know where
maybe I'm an exception to the
to
rule. I went down there. I put myself on child support.
That's
I
all.
agree. I agree. You should. I agree. When you separate, boom, just go ahead and get it done. It just, man, it just stops so many problems. I'm telling you, I've been through it. It stops so many problems. You don't have to do all that arguing. So
If you
I
already know what your situation,
Well, no, well, I ain't gonna say that, but when it comes to modifying,
but
they
it
want to
definitely
go
do.
up.
If
Then
you
that's
know
something
what
the
your
argument will start then.
But it's if you know what your situation is and you already know what it's gonna be, it's like, yeah, let me go
go
and
ahead and
do
do it.
this right now because this ain't gonna be good. So of course. So
And I think, and I will say this too in defense of the man who does take care of their kids.
mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff can be adjusted and can be agreed upon, because the attorney general's office will let you go to mediation before you go to court. You don't always just go right to court. That court happens when people don't show up and people don't be, doing what they supposed to do. Like the insurance. Who has the cheapest insurance on their job? Whoever pays the least, put it on yours, and then I'll pay all the co-pays. I'll buy all the medicine. People can agree if they really wanted to.
That's right.
The problem is, it's a little bit of something in there that makes them like, I ain't doing that. And it doesn't really have to be that. Like, if the man gonna put him on insurance and it's gonna be $700 out of his check, but you can put him on your insurance and it's only gonna be $150. The logical sense is to pay the $150, right? And then, hey, all the prescriptions, when we get them, you just reimburse me the prescription. All the co-pays, you just reimburse me. It can be agreed upon.
And worked
but
out.
A lot of people are just selfish and they don't want to agree. And it's always because it's some anger in there somewhere.
It's not about the kids. That's what I'm saying.
It can be agreed upon. I mean, now when I look back on it, it can be agreed upon. It just can. Two of my kids' dad, I got child support from. One of them I did, but I didn't. They were all forced. Like, I'm just gonna have to do it. But a lot of that stuff could have been agreed. They want to agree on it after you start taking them to court. No, you ain't get that code till March. No, we ain't. I asked for it in October. Baby done froze to death. We ain't doing it. And you gotta go there. So it's like, no, I don't feel like agreeing now. We tried, it didn't work out. So I believe that child support is very necessary for the health, sanity of the parents, and for the well-being of the child. I believe that it is definitely necessary. I don't believe that you should be gouging a daddy after you get the check. If he wants to do extra, let him do. If not, just go and spend up your little check on what you need to spend it on for your child and move forward. Everybody got bills. Everybody needs to be considerate of each other when it comes to that. But I definitely think it's necessary.
This is a great topic, y'all. But
it absolutely was. So we've run out of time, y'all. Thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to share. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook Live every Tuesday at 7:45. We appreciate all the questions. Hopefully we'll get some more next time on a different topic. We will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for, just supporting us with this Relock podcast. We're just getting started, so we have a lot more to come in the future. You guys have a great night, and we will see you all next week at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Child support is necessary, you guys. Take care of your kids. Peace out.
Peace.